Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Library of Alexandria. Today we're going to be talking about City of Blades, book
Shing.
2 of the Divine Cities trilogy by Robert Jackson Bennett. Last month we talked about City of Stairs, which we were all pretty positive on. Mike had already read City of Blades and enjoyed it more, and I have to say that I agree with him. I also enjoyed City of Blades more than City of Stairs. I'm going to hold this up because I don't have City of Blades near me. So this is the third one. What is that, Pete?
It looks like it's a blade, but it's not. It's a tower.
Is that your cover?
No, it's an
Oh,
absolute wind.
stupid Ursula K. Le Guin. All right. Anyway, so let's just go ahead and get into it. Talk about what were your general thoughts compared to this one compared to the last one. What were your just general thoughts, non-spoiler thoughts of the book before we dive into the deep stuff and spoilers? Mike, why don't you go ahead since you read it first?
Sure. My general thoughts. I like I said before, I like this one. I like book one, but I like this one a little more. Which is weird because actually, the main character book one, there's a trope that always works for me for the most part. But I did really like Mulagesh and the other characters. Also, I listened to it on audio, and it took me a while to get used to the audiobook narrator on book one, and I went right into this one already knowing what she sounded like, so I had no problems from the beginning. And she does a good voice for Mulagesh. I feel like the theme that he's going with the overall trilogy of like what happens if gods interact with people, really strong in this book.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's pretty much it.
Right on, Pete. Pete, guys. Like I say a lot of bad things about Pete, and I mean all of them. But in this particular thing, like Pete read 400 pages since yesterday in this book. So let it not be said that Pete is not a beast. Pete out here being beast mode, whatever that Seattle Seahawks player was 10 years ago. Whatever
I could be
his
the
name.
bus. Deep cut.
I don't know what
Steelers
that
cut.
is. I know what beast mode is. Who was beast mode? Chat, y'all know who beast mode was? Anyway, Pete,
should
what
know.
were your thoughts?
I don't know. I have only been reading Isles of the Emberdark since I got it this morning, so I didn't read any of this.
That's not true. You finished it.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I'm about to
I
fight
haven't
you.
touched Isles of the Emberdark, which says
Jimmy?
something. I really like this one. I think that Mulagesh felt like a stronger lead to me than Shara was. Unfortunately, and you know, I like Shara, but I think I liked Mulagesh's story better. I think that this is much more a much more character focused book, which helped a lot with the story. So yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, I have a bunch of thoughts. I have to put them together first. But yeah, I really like this one a lot better.
Anita?
Okay. Overall, I liked it a lot, but I can see that it is a stronger book than first book, but I enjoyed getting to know the world, getting to know the characters in book one. So I had more fun with book one. This is brutal, little darker, so I can't exactly say I had fun, but I did enjoy it a lot.
Megan here liked the plot of book one more, but the character work in book two. I liked both. This book for some reason really hit a home run with me. This is one of my favorite books I've read this year. And I don't really know why, because it's not like I tore through it, but I just found myself like drawn to keep picking up the book and the stuff it was exploring, and it was a step up for me in every way from book one. I never do this, but I liked this book so much, I actually lowered my rating of book one because I was like, this book is so much better than book one. Like, I'll give this 5 stars, but that doesn't really adequately convey the difference in my opinion on these two books. So, and Pete says, and that is why star ratings are meaningless. I got you, Pete. So moving on past that, where the first one is like Mike said, they both have this theme of humans interacting with the gods, or how they used to interact, or what's remaining of them, and all that stuff. But this one, I love military fantasy, and the main character is a soldier. Mulagesh is a soldier, and the exploration of what it means to be a soldier and what a soldier's duty is as a soldier, and what their duty is to their nation, their home nation, and what their duty is to other soldiers, just really spoke to me as someone who's never been in the military. I really just like always themes of duty and themes of just war and the exploration of war and its injustices are things that I just really, really enjoy in books. And I was just compelled, and I didn't think I was going to be, because I'm like, oh, stupid. I remember the last one. I'm like, stupid Vortia, stupid war god. Like, I don't care about the war god. It's always the war god. And yet I thought Robert Jackson Bennett did some really interesting stuff here with, and again, he's also exploring the responsibility that the governing class has to the governed, as well as the responsibility that a deity has to their followers, which I also really, really like, rather than it just being, a vending machine.
The responsibilities of a soldier in that governing body as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, Sal asks, how much does it stay with you, Mike? How much of the book?
Pretty good. I have a pretty good retention of what I read, so I remember pretty much, a good bit.
Right on. Sam, I gave it 1 star because that is the most interesting thing I could do. So blame Kunigaru, not me. So yeah. So I don't really know what to talk about non-spoiler. If you're here, hopefully you know about book 1. The setup for this one is Shara is the prime minister, and Shara is in this very little. Sigrud has become the diplomat of the new Drailing Republic or whatever. The Drailing monarchies have been overthrown, I guess. And Mulagesh is torn out of retirement to go investigate some new magical ore that doesn't lose any energy in its conductivity of electricity, which I thought was just a cool premise. Like I thought that was neat. Going to explore like a thing that would revolutionize technology. And then she gets there and she's on, Vortiastan? And, we get to see what Sapor left of it after the Kaj came and rolled through and basically, threw down the gods. And I think Bennett does a really good job of showing us this nation that has kind of floundered under
completely ruined.
Yeah, because it's not like Bulakov, which is still pretty. I mean, prosperous for the continent, right?
Yeah.
Like nowhere on the continent is super prosperous, but Bulakov, being the center of activity, is huge, or is comparatively huge. And then Vortia is just this forgotten. There used to be a big port, and it's gone, and it used to be like a center of activity. And isn't Vortia the first? That's where the Kaj landed there, right?
He landed.
No.
He landed in a different
was the
spot.
first god killed by Kaz. Yes, that's
Vortia
right.
was the first one that the Kaj killed.
City of Blades was a city that they never saw before it fell.
Yeah, I believe they killed Vortia actually on the
landing.
On the colony,
on Sapor, yeah.
On Sapor, yeah.
I think it was directly after he landed on the continent was when.
No, I thought no, because he kills because it's the engineer and flower houses that met him when he landed, and that's when he killed them. They came out to meet him when he landed.
Yeah,
Vortia came to Sapor or Sapor, and that's where he killed Vortia in the Night of Red Sands. Remembering from the first book. So yeah, no, Mike has not read book 3 yet.
Yes. Sorry, Sal, I can't comment, or I was gonna. It wants me to link my YouTube to comment, and I don't want to mess anything up. So
yeah, no worries. So I just thought that Neither's right. This book is darker than book 1, and it is a great character study of. I think it does a really admirable job of. I think there's a realistic portrayal of PTSD in
Yeah.
this. Like Mulagesh, the weight. I think he adequately conveys the weight that Mulagesh has been carrying around in her that we weren't aware of in book one, because she was not really a major POV character in book one. But
I mean,
here,
we knew she was an alcoholic.
yes,
That's enough, right?
that's true. But we didn't know like what the just the weight of her actions that she's been carrying around that's kind of
Mhm.
driven her to that. That's actually wild, Megan. I've heard from most everybody that book 3 is people's favorites, but
Crazy ending.
Yeah.
We'll see.
so Mike, what are your other thoughts? What other thoughts do you have about this particular book?
The one thing that comes to mind, it's not spoilery, but it's more overall world building of book 1 and book 2. I like the fact that the people in the book are not omniscient about what's actually like. There's a lot of unknowns about what happened and who knows what. In the first book, they're like, well, we don't know what the metal was that the Kaj developed, and we don't know how he did this and that. There's just a lot of events that happened that very limited people know about.
Yeah.
Like the Yellow March and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I think it's cool world building for them to be able to reveal things to people in world. You know what I mean? And keep it mystery from them.
Yeah, for sure. Pete, any other thoughts?
Yeah, I think that I think this one does some fun stuff structurally with how it works, and maybe I've seen reviews that are like, it's the same structure as the first one, but I think that the way he writes his main character, the Mugalesh's agency in the whole mystery type of thing, is really good. I'll get more into that in spoilers because I have very specific thoughts and comparisons and
Yeah.
counterpoints.
With the structure thing, I'm glad you mentioned that, because when I was reading it, like the back half of this book, I think made me forget that I was a little frustrated with the beginning, but only because I felt like it was doing the same thing. I'm like, we're going to have a 2/3 of the way through mini boss, and then we're going to have the big boss there at the very end, just like we did in the first one.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on. Because in the first one, remember, I thought that the mini boss was really compelling and exciting. But then the big boss, I was just like, this is not.
Yeah.
Like, this is when I stopped really enjoying it. And so I thought the same thing that was going to happen, because the mini boss in this one was just like, what is happening? I was sold. Like, I was like, this book needs to end. Like, please don't continue on to the big boss. Just stop here. But, and then when it kept going and I still had all that page time left, I was like, it's going to do the same thing. But then it didn't. It definitely changed what I expected was going to happen in that last third of the book. And I think that last third of the book was where it got, low key its darkest, and things just began to spiral. And where in the first one, the last third is where it fell off for me. In this one, the last third is where I was like, okay, all right, boom, sold. So what do you think, Anita?
Oh, I think I like the structure in book 1 more. This one, when we are entering the city of Blades, or in the beginning of the investigation, I got real sometimes bored. I was like, okay, what is happening? I can't follow it. I don't know what is going to happen. I like anticipating things. I like getting drawing my own theories. And this one, I could not draw any theories, so that bothered me. And what you said, Alan, that divinities men, whatever they do, their thoughts affect divinities and divinities affect men. That one was more prominent in book 1. I think the complexity of that divinity versus men relationship is kind of lost in book 2, at least for me.
Hold on. No, isn't that the main point of this book? Like that's like the principal point.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
See, in book 1, I did not feel like divinities were bad or anything. I had like a very complex relationship with them. But in book 2, it felt like Divinity of War is outright a villain. That
I
complexity is lost for me.
I disagree in that I think that Vortia is much more like Lovecraftian, like cosmic horror that is neither good nor evil. Is just like she's just war and death and destruction. Like she to me feels like a force of nature rather than
That is because of her taking that from Hana. In order to build that city, she took that power of love from Ahana. She bonded with that god of love.
Okay,
That's
well,
why.
spoilers, Anita. Like spoilers abound.
Sorry.
It's okay. I mean, it's okay. Like whatever you need to do. Hey guys, we're talking about. I mean, minor spoilers for how Vortia got the way she is. It is bad. It is bad, Sal, but it's bad in the same way that when Cthulhu rises from the sunken city R'lyeh, that he will destroy humanity. It's not because Cthulhu hates humanity. It's because Cthulhu nothings humanity. It's just like, oh, look, these are here. Like that's kind of what Vortia is, rather than Kolkan in book 1 was most certainly like, I will destroy everyone. Like Kolkan was actively choosing to be evil, as opposed to Vortia, which just felt like a, Armageddon, I guess. Though I do see what you're saying, Anita. Like, I don't know. Whatever. Where does Anita keep going? And who are those
camera?
Oh, who are those people on her? Who are those 3 people? Are they the same person?
I think that's from A Good Place.
Is it?
Isn't it? What's the?
Who is that? It's not Kristen. It's not Kristen Bell.
No, the assistant.
Oh, I don't know.
Bennett.
So, Pete, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I also kind of like disagree a little bit with Anita. I feel like that it's not precisely Lovecraftian, but like the bones of the story are very Lovecraftian in the structure of it, with just like, hey, alcoholic detective-ish goes to foreign city to investigate something where the last person that tried to investigate it went mad. Are there cultists? Are there things like we don't understand?
Yeah,
there's
that's true.
Thing
that's
that you
true.
can't understand. Like it's very Lovecraftian in the plot sense, and then it gives you also Lovecraftian vibes because of that, right? And then you get the Lovecraftian monster that is, oh my gosh, there's this thing, and then it twists, right? Because it kind of gives you this thing of because of how the gods are structured in this world, the gods are understandable, and it's a little bit of a weird feeling because I'm expecting the Lovecraftian, you can't comprehend this type of thing. But at the same time, I think I feel like the not necessarily the gods are people too, but the gods were created by their people theme works a lot better in this one because of what the solution to the mystery is, basically.
Yeah. And what Anita, you were saying about the beginning, where like to Mike's point, like I like that we don't know anything. I actually enjoyed the beginning because I was discovering stuff along with Mulagesh. Like I really tried to figure out, like Simon says that that he telegraphed everything in this one, and I think there's a couple things that you could see coming, but I didn't figure out the mystery. Like I was trying desperately. I'm like, what is this freaking metal? Like, what is this metal doing? And in retrospect, maybe I should have figured it out faster, but I didn't.
I like all the metal part actually.
What are you like a Ventrilo server right now? Because that's what you. Anita has joined the server. That's what you sound like right now. You got to fix it.
Oh, okay.
It's revenge, because evidently somebody pointed out on the mid-year freakout tag that Anita told me to shut up, and then my mic started going out.
No, it's like you guys are passing around a sound virus. All right, try now, Anita.
Oh.
What?
Is it better now?
Much better. Please continue.
Okay. See, I like the that over detail actually, that figuring out what that part I really liked. That's the mystery I like the most. What I did not exactly did not like, what I felt bored or what lost me was going into City of Blades, not knowing anything. There were too many connections.
Too many elements.
Yes, too many elements, because there was this Tinadeshi thing is there, Radha thing is there, and the one Sumitra Chaudhary missing one is there. I was like, too many parallels. I could not see it, so that bothered me.
Mhm.
Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
do
like
understand.
that though, because it kept me. I'm like, how does any of this tie in? I did, however, talking of, I don't really remember many of the characters from book one other than Vo, besides Shara, Sigrud, and Mulagesh. But in this one, like the characters I liked, I mean, well, no, there's definitely at least three characters in here that I love. Pandry, like I love
Mhm.
Pandry, Signy, and I'm look, guy. Oh, hold on, we're gonna get into spoilers. So y'all need to go. Like we're gonna talk spoilers. Like, okay, no, sorry, never mind. We're not talking spoilers. Let's finish talking about this stuff, and then we'll get into all this stuff. I literally almost just spoiled a whole bunch. But I don't know what else do we have to say that isn't spoiler. We should probably get into spoilers next thing.
The only
Uh,
thing, the
Go
only
ahead,
thing I would add about spoiler, I mentioned in the last video about how I felt a lot of the creatures were very Elden Ring or Dark Souls like, and I think that they really were in this book. Like just
Oh yeah.
in general, the way that like the aesthetic of what those things, what the miracles and the divine creatures look like,
Yeah.
gives me very much like Elden Ring type creatures.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, completely agree. I'm glad there were no more of those hand things. Whatever, those creepy things. All right, we're gonna talk about spoilers then. Because I do want to talk about the other characters like Pandry and then Signy,
Signy.
Sigrud's daughter, and then the general. What's his name, Anita?
Biswal?
Yeah,
Bisval.
Bismal or Biswal.
What is it?
It's either Bismal or Biswal.
Biswal.
Biswal?
I think
Go with that.
Biswal.
Look, I thought like
Layla.
I did not see the Biswal turn like at all. Like okay, first of all, Radha, there is no character. There is no reason to ever have anyone stutter in any book ever.
Unless they're
Like
not.
seriously, I've never read a fantasy book where someone stuttered and it wasn't plot related. Ever. Like
Yep.
ever.
And
It-
also,
I mean,
and
can y'all
also,
think of one? If you can think of one, please tell me, because I think it is so often used to cover like secret bad guy, right? Like today,
Or
Junior.
just signal something.
Yeah.
Right? Because as soon as it's like, oh yeah, the only time Rada doesn't stutter is when she's with dead bodies. It was like,
yeah, huge shade that
or
was
not dead
actually.
bodies, but bodies that she's operating on.
I called something. I didn't know what extent, but I called secret something the second I saw a stutterer. I'm like, no one stutters in fantasy. They just don't.
As soon as she said, your people dug me out of the rubble, I actually called that to be a lie. Evidently it wasn't, but it would have made more sense to be a lie.
I thought
was
actually,
like, no, what?
I thought she stayed under the rubble for so long, right? I thought some kind of dead soul entered into her, some kind of divinity
No,
thing.
it just broke her connection with reality. Like she
Trauma.
just considered her. She never thought that she came out of there. Like she just, I don't know. She was weird. But first of all, Signy, I put in the discussion. I said, okay, like whatever. There is no way that RJB knocked off Signy. Like there's no way, because y'all, like tell me if you disagree. If anyone has main character energy in this book,
It's Signy.
Like
Yeah.
Signy has out of control main character energy. I thought she was going to be a huge part of book 3. No,
I'm so confused that she died. Like that's the big part of this thing that I'm really confused about. It's the only thing that didn't make sense.
I was so angry,
Oh my gosh.
especially with the way she died. I know if she had a main role to play in City of Blades or while fighting with Divinity, I wouldn't have been hurt so much. I wouldn't have been this upset. But the way, I mean, there was no agency to the character. I was so
She had
furious.
agency at every single step of that book until she died.
Yeah.
And also, she had agency. She didn't have to stay there. She chose to stay there.
Mhm.
Yes.
She literally could have left and not gotten shot.
I think there are two possible reasons why he could have killed her. Firstly, thematically, the randomness of war.
Yes.
Har,
Okay,
har.
Pete,
Yeah.
yes.
But-
A lot of underneath issues with this book are how like realistic this book is. One, the fact that Shara, despite being prime minister and saved everybody at the Battle of Bulakov, has no more political like clout. Like she's used it all in 5 years. Gone. Realistic. The fact that people don't suffer, that people are not punished for their crimes. Realistic. The fact that sometimes people die and they don't go out in a blaze of glory. Realistic. And so I, like Anita, am torn because one, I want those things that we read fantasy for, while at the same time I'm like, you know what? That just makes it so much bleaker because that is what happens.
Mhm.
Sorry, Pete, go ahead.
But at the same time, like this book, while it is like they has those realistic moments, there's so many do it for the plot moments as well. Like the everything coming together with the plan to kill Zugroth, which was totally epic, amazing.
Look,
Like you're gonna
if
freaking
you
mow him
really
down
got
with a
get
machine
out of
gun.
here. That was awesome. That was awesome.
Mow him down with a machine gun, hit him with the train, toss the sword into a burning pit of coals that was in the train.
You know,
Look.
I did not think they would be able to do it. I was like, how are they going to fight against this monster or like powerful guy? I did not see that coming at all. That
Look.
was epic.
I thought that was awesome. I thought that was way cooler than Mata standing up, the statue falling, and the arrows shooting into it, and the big horse coming and jumping on it and getting out like all out of nowhere. Like that was, I'm just like, what, Mata? Get out of here. That's from Grace of Kings. Sorry. Like this. They threw a train at him, y'all. Like it's awesome. Mike, what are your thoughts?
I was thinking about this before when you mentioned about how Vortio feels like a force of nature. I think the fact that she doesn't talk is like thematically there to make you feel like she's a force of nature. And also when they talk about like, oh, in the beginning, she was like an animal and had claws and horns like animals. It's like, and as humans became more civilized, their god of war became covered in the trappings of civilization. But yeah, I think the fact that Vortio stopped speaking at some point, like to me, was indicated that she was supposed to be kind of viewed as a force of nature, to some degree.
She stopped talking when she merged with
when she cut off. No, when she cut off the hand. When
because
she
her-
created.
Same when
kid
she
died.
merged with the Hana.
Yeah,
Not
kid
when she
die,
merged, when
or
she
did
cut
the-
off with Ohana.
when she separated.
Oh, that's right.
When she
Hold on.
created the
Whose son died?
afterlife.
The saint or her?
Jugrut's
saints.
son.
How do you? What's his name?
Jurgut.
How do you
Jugrut.
spell it?
It's Zugrut.
Ghugrut.
It was spelled with a
ZHU?
Z.
ZHU?
No, it was Zugu.
Zugru.
Or Zugru, but it was Zug to start
Look,
with.
Saint Zagreb who sings for tears. That's
Yeah,
what-
that guy.
There you go. Mike, I completely agree. I was like, she was so much scarier than Kolkan was from book one, I thought. And
Yes.
I was convinced, and this is another problem Anita has, I was convinced that Mulagesh was going to bite it and become Vortia. Like I thought from when they were talking about it, I'm like Mulagesh is going to have to go in there. She's going to have to become the new Vortia. She's going to have to do it. And then she's going to die, and that's going to be a good send-off for Mulagesh. But even that didn't happen. Mulagesh didn't get to sacrifice herself heroically while everyone else dies around her. Like the tragedy of this book, like Mulagesh is the one who wants to die. Like she's done living. She's done carrying this burden. She feels like death would be the penance that she could pay for the Yellow March and all the evil she's done.
Mhm.
And yet it is only the people around her that are dying. And Mulagesh can't even get that right.
Yeah.
That was like Pandry's death is what almost pushed me over the edge. Like
Oh my God. Yes.
like
Since sorry for
no, go
interrupting, Alan.
ahead.
Since Signesh's death, I started crying, and Pandry's death like completely broke me. Actually, I loved Mulagesha's character in book one and almost two-thirds of this book. Since Signesh's death, Muligesh was like, "Are you coming with me?" She wanted Signe to come with her, but when Signe got injured, Muligesh left her, armed her. She knows their army is there. Mulagesh was a general, and she gave Signe the gun. She fired bullets on that army. She knows that giving her a weapon is dangerous. She left her there with gun. I was
No,
so
but she
furious.
also knows that army protocol is if someone surrenders, you don't shoot them. That one guy, that one like lieutenant or whatever, was like whipped up with battle frenzy.
She should
because
have see, she worked with Biswal. She should have known what to expect from Biswal and his
there is no way
Goonies.
she anticipated Biswal doing it again. That's the whole
No.
thing.
But,
Is
see,
she did not think that
worked
Biswal
with
was going to
she
pull a Yellow March
she
again.
worked with Biswal. She was cruel when she worked under Biswal. She should have anticipated, yes, some soldiers should have been like me. Maybe they might get influenced by Biswal. They might kill people. She should have anticipated that.
So
If
you're
she's
mad at her because she couldn't think of everything?
yes. and then and then she
Look,
killed Pandry. I was so
look,
angry.
She thought Biswal had changed like she had.
Yeah. That's
No.
what I love.
She's
Yes.
so
no,
much
no,
about
no,
the
no, no, no,
Biswal
no, no.
reveal is
Don't tell
I
me. There was not a single indication that to see that Biswal has changed. No
Yes.
hint.
She assumes
and-
that Biswal is human and that
she
it wears
knows
on him.
she knows that Biswal went to all those villages to kill people. She did not do anything about it.
Yeah, okay.
That's fair.
Yes, but those, we still didn't know that it wasn't them that blew things up. She suspects. We don't know. We also know that they did kill the previous general. Like they did murder. They sniped the previous general. So they have been hostile towards the fort. That's why she's like, okay, Biswal is going to extreme, but he's tired. He thought it's because he's tired of losing men, so he has to show a force. She did not agree with it. Understand? She did not agree with it. There's no way she thought he was going to go full Yellow March.
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
I would also say, even if they knew it was dangerous, they knew they were going into a dangerous situation. They were willing to risk their lives because they were saving the world, in essence. I don't know that they were in a position where she should have been like, no, you stay here or go. You know what I mean? I don't think they were in a position to not do everything they could to try and save the world, including risking their lives. And she risked her lives and she died. I mean, yeah.
I do understand your points. If I calm down and think objectively, I would
No,
agree
that's
with
totally
you.
fine.
But I was so distraught with Signesh's death and the unfairness of it. I need someone to blame, and Mukesh is the only one to blame.
No, absolutely. And then just the chain that goes off from Signy dying, from Sigrud just
Berserk.
murdering a whole bunch of people that didn't deserve it either. Like Sigrud's killing people that didn't do anything either. Like they're just standing there trying to.
We don't know that. They could be
Also,
the same people who killed
You're
Signe.
right. You're right. We don't know that, Anitha. But most probably they were just there to guard things like they're supposed to.
Yes, okay. This is what my 1 minute, Pete. My last point,
ahead.
then I'll shut up. See, yes, I do agree. Sigrud, maybe those soldiers are involved in killing the villagers and killing the Signe, or may not be. Maybe they are just guards. We are not sure if they deserve it or not. But Sigrud got the punishment. What about the soldiers under Biswal? They participated in that war crimes. There was nothing, no consequences for those people.
For which one? The ones in the Yellow
The ones
March?
that,
No,
No.
not under Yellow March. Soldiers who went with Biswal to kill the villagers, to kill innocent
No,
children.
no. They were not killing villagers. They were killing Highlanders. They weren't killing people down in the city.
Highlanders are also villagers. Highlanders are also families. Highlanders are also there were children.
they were still killing
Okay,
innocents.
understand. Highlanders were also killing the soldiers. Like the Highlanders weren't just standing there playing Rummy Cube, and then Biswal
But
shows up with the
the
soldiers.
but the implication of what yeah, that's true that the Highlanders were killing the soldiers. But are you going to go out and kill them, their family, and their kids and children? Like
mean,
like
Historically
that's what he
speaking,
did.
yes.
I mean, yeah, like historically speaking, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I get what you're saying, Anitha, but I think like
That okay. I that's what my problem is. Powerful nations and victors always get away with war crimes. They talk about rules when it
That's-
comes to
It's true.
opposite people.
Yeah.
They talk rules and punishing Sigurd. So Sigurd is on the run, but they don't have any consequences.
Okay, well, that's because Anitha,
Canadians.
they killed they didn't kill Sepuri. Right? The government is Sepur, and Sigurd killed Sepur soldiers. The Sepuri and Biswal killed Vortiashtani.
Okay,
Also,
if we follow that logic, sorry, if we follow that logic, during the Yellow March, Mulagesh and Biswal did kill soldiers of Sepuri soldiers, but they did command to Biswal again.
Okay.
Injustice happens.
Yes,
a
and
lot.
also understand. No, I agree with you. Like, I agree with you. Yellow March is horrible, but in the Sepur government's eyes, that is what won them the war. Like, so it's one of these things, and this is again what I think is interesting that they explore. They can't commend it because of the war crimes, but they also can't come out and completely denounce them because then no future soldiers will do what it takes to win the war. Does that make sense?
I completely understand them keeping shut up about it, but they don't have to give him command again. I am pissed with Shara with this.
It was
How
supposed
can
to
she-
be. It's supposed to be like when in the FBI and you make people mad, they move you to the office in Montana. That's what this was supposed to be.
Yeah.
It wasn't supposed to be they can't fire him because they don't have cause, because again they're saying the hero of the battle of the war doesn't exist. So it comes back to no one thinks that Biswal could ever do that again. Like they just assume that he is a real human being who isn't going to want to do that again.
Yeah,
so they're like, we'll put him out to pasture. Go ahead.
Even when Biswal came down into the basement where Mulagesh was trying to destroy the sword, she tries to reason with him. She clearly still thinks he can be reasoned with at that point,
Yeah. And
I think as soon as she was coming back from the City of Blades, and we get that, as soon as he ran out to go after them, I'm like, he's gonna turn. Like, he's the last guy that's gonna turn and do something. Like, I knew there was gonna be a heel turn on his part. He was gonna go against Mulagesh, like, because I felt like that was inevitable to me. It's like he's gonna turn somehow. He can't just be this random dude that is also like, yeah, no, I regret doing the Yellow Marshes as well, because he never said that as well.
yeah.
So he was just like this thing waiting to happen, and it wasn't until like he went out and marched against the Vorishtanis that I was like, okay, so he's gonna get something. And then the swords came into play, and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, like I thought Mulagesh was going to talk him down. I did not realize, like, I just didn't see it coming. Him being like, and I've been reading a lot of books that have this in it. Just the thing about where people, as soon as people start to think they deserve things, that's where things go awry. And Biswal, and I like Biswal as a character, just a monstrous person. I'm like I agree with you. Anitha. What he did was monstrous. But as a character, I think he's interesting because he cannot get over the fact that he won this war and has never gotten any of the credit. In fact, they won't even talk about what he did. It was so shameful. And he rather than, he unlike Mulagesh, who is a soldier for her country and believes that soldiers should serve, he is of that opposite side that Mulagesh talks about, where he believes that being a soldier, he's earned something, right? He's earned the same glory that Shara's gotten, and that Sigrud has gotten, and that Mulagesh has gotten. They won the Battle of Bulakov. Who cares? Like, he won the freaking. He's the reason that the Saipur, other than the Kaj, aren't underneath the continent anymore. And he let that devour him rather than moving on, accepting his role, and trying to somehow make peace and
better the world.
Yeah, and make the world better. To pay for what he did. He just stews on it because, and I get it. Like,
he taught at the War College for ages before he got the post. That's where they hid him away.
And
where he stewed on military tactics for ages instead of doing anything else.
If we think about it as humans, think about, like, if let's say we didn't commit war crimes, but let's say, like, we did something similar where we had to dirty our hands, but, like, the world celebrated this thing. And yet, you're just sitting there like none of us are perfect humans. I don't know how we would handle it. Hope I would handle it less like Biswal and more like Mulagesh. Really, like neither, because I wouldn't want to be drunk either. But it's I just thought it was really nuanced in its handle of all of that stuff. Though emotionally, I completely agree. With Anita. Like, I completely agree. I'm also pissed that Sigrud has consequences and frickin' no one else does.
Oh my gosh, it's 5 soldiers in the middle of a battle.
But he murdered them straight up in cold blood. Like there's no defense. Like,
how do they know?
I was also upset that Mulagesh told on Sigrud instead of protecting.
Yeah, that's how they know. That's so stupid.
I mean, I don't like it. I don't like it either. And then Anita's messaging me being mad because theoretically Shara should be able to, but Shara doesn't have any clout anymore. Like, she's used it up. And Anita's like, what's the point of her being prime minister? And that's so realistic. Like someone said, one election cycle, done. Like, sorry, you've used it all up. And she used it to try to help the continent. And, she doesn't have any more leverage.
But, if she's going to lose in next election cycle anyway, she knows that. Maybe, I don't know. I was upset.
Mike, how do you feel about Sigrud having to take this?
I think it's better I think Sigrud is happier when he's not happy.
What?
I feel like his daughter got killed. He doesn't have to wear fancy fur hats and be a diplomat. He can go on the run and do what he needs to do. Live in his own little self-imposed hell that he seems to think he deserves. Honestly, I think it worked out for him in a weird, twisted way.
Have you read the blurb for City of Miracles?
Not yet, no.
Pete, what about you?
Nope. I don't read blurbs. What are you talking about?
Y'all should read the blurb. Y'all should see the world state in book 3. I was like, oh, okay. All right. But
Sal says don't read it.
Yeah, don't read it. I mean,
Sal, who famously, didn't you DNF this book? I don't remember.
Yeah. I also thought, like, again, after all of this, Pandry's death got me the hardest because he was in Bulakov. He's just a driver now. Like, he's friendly, he's helpful, and he's in love with Signy. And he doesn't hate Mulagesh, but like Anitha, he has to blame somebody. Yeah. And so he just picks Mulagesh. And Mulagesh tries so hard to not kill him. Like, she tries so hard to just disarm him. And
nope,
she can't. Like, her choice is she's got to defend herself or she's going to die. And I do think that if she wasn't trying to save the world, she would have just let Pandry kill her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But she needed to be alive to try to
also, I think she had to kill Pandry. That's why Utia essence came into her. That's
Yeah.
why that scene is there actually.
That's why what?
One
Sorry,
last-
repeat.
That's why that scene is there, so that Utia's essence or whatever it was to enter,
it's why
Mulagesh,
the
she
sword woke
has
up.
to kill someone.
That's right. That's right. Oh, can we also talk about, like, I really liked that he also subverted expectations when Biswal tosses her one of the swords and is like, "All right, I've always wanted to fight you. Let's see who's better." And she just shoots him. She just boom shoots him. I
Oh,
literally thought they were about to
great.
have a sword fight. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. And then he shot her, or she shot him, and I'm like, that's all right. That's fair.
Yeah. It's like that scene was so, I was like questioning what was going to happen, because he was like, I'm going to take out this sword, and she's like, oh, that must be one of the one sword that just didn't make it. I'm like, is there going to be a second sword? Is he going to toss her that's going to be possessed, or is he going to pick up a sword that's going to possess him? And then she shot him. Like,
Yeah, I think that's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
So what else?
or like, yeah.
I want to talk about the fact that even though Vortia was killed and they know she was killed, the way she continued to kind of exist was because the whole thing is like, was an afterlife. It's like, this is what happens after you die, which applied to her when she died. I thought that was really fascinating.
Mhm.
I like how it like played with what you thought the rules of the world were,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and it stuck to what they were and what you were told they were, but you thought one thing and it worked out another way. I liked that. And I like the fact that the City of Blade, the time constriction in the City of Blades, so that Thinadesh, who disappeared like 60 years ago, is like been there the whole time. You know, I like that trope. I've seen that in other things where it's like, oh, the person that disappeared, and you know, it's like a Jumanji effect kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also thought that was really cool. I like when like oaths manifest physically, like the oath that she made, the promises she made to her soldiers are what kept that manifestation and that promise of the afterlife. And I
Mhm.
also like Sal, the blurb is only stupid if it doesn't happen in the first like 2 chapters. If it happens like mid book, I will be
Realm of
pissed.
the Otherlings.
If
Every Realm of the Otherlings
if
blurb.
if the thing on the blurb of the book happens mid book and not right at the beginning, I will riot. That is ridiculous.
I think it will happen in first chapter itself,
So
because
so
in
do
book
I.
one and book two, both book one and book two, that happened in chapter one, and then the character enters this investigation phase.
Yeah, so it won't bother me like if it happens right at the beginning. It's a huge spoiler if it happens in the middle of the book. What was I saying? Bortia. Oh yeah, and the way that Mulagesh gets out of it by saying that they're not adhering to their oath. They're not
Actually soldiers.
correct. Her oath was for soldiers. And I love that keeps coming up. The fact that there are soldiers who believe that their power gives them the right to take from others, and
Mhm.
those soldiers who believe that their power helps them serve others, helps give other people power. And I think that just as a general exploration of power and might, that there are way more people with power and the force of will use it to serve others or help others rise up, rather than to use it for their own personal gain and advancement. And that's just one of the things that I really really liked, like soldier and military might being a stand-in for power in general.
Mhm.
And I think Mulagesh, when she took on the mantle of Vortia in that way, I think she was able to change Vortia because that's who Mulagesh truly
Yeah.
was. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, it's a ploy, this is what I need. It's like, no, Vortia changed to be that way because that's who Mulagesh was. That's how
Yeah. That's her definition of a soldier.
Yeah.
Oh,
And that
absolutely.
She was
projection
able
onto
to
the
change.
power
No,
changed
yeah.
the oath.
Absolutely. Yeah. I didn't even think of that.
And what did you guys think about throwing the sword into the sea? I mean, does that mean sword was still alive or it's dead?
I think if we have stories in the, I feel like that in the future of this world, there will be stories about trying to recover the sword of Vortia.
Well,
I
not
don't
just
think
that. I don't
sword's
know that
dead.
they could destroy the city, even though she was able to change and avert the army. I don't know if they destroyed the City of Blades because it was still half created by Olvos, who's still alive.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
So
was
if the people still alive
Yeah.
are there and believe it, then it'll kind of keep existing.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that would probably, if stories get out about her throwing the sword and what she actually did, and like that'll keep the sword alive.
We haven't
Also,
seen two divinities, right? Ahana and who is that
We've
builder
seen
guy?
Ohana though. She was
Yeah.
Ohana was the one that
the end
Who
of
is
the
that builder guy? T something with T.
yeah, it starts with a T.
T, because the T is the strongest structure.
It's
of a spread.
TAA something. Talhad or TAAL.
Talhavistan.
Whatever.
I don't know.
He's the
Tally
builder.
ho.
We haven't seen the builder and we haven't seen Ahana.
don't think there's
Ahana is. I mean, we saw only like Vucha took help from Ahana,
Mhm.
for that love, in order to build that afterlife.
Yeah.
Also, can we
Calavros.
like
Megan got it.
how angry were you at Shara when after all this she's gonna I like Shara because I like characters like this because I don't like it, but Shara has a cause. And I think Shara is willing to throw anybody into the grinder for that cause because Mulagesh deserves to retire. And here
Mhm.
Shara is trying to throw her back into the meat grinder.
I would have agreed with you in the beginning of this book, but having known now what happened in Yellow March, what she did, I don't think she deserved to retire before the beginning of this book. Now, what happened? Now she regretted so much. She did all those steps to really regret. Now I agree that at the end of this book, at least, yes, she's allowed to regret.
Bless
Yeah,
you.
I don't.
Allowed to retire.
Yeah, I don't think Mulagesh was in a position. I think she knew Mulagesh was eating herself up inside. She knew that she needed something.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Needed to do something to like redeem herself or try at least.
But
But
I
even
think to be
now that
fair,
she wants
I-
Mulagesh to be a politician now.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. To be
So-
fair to
so-
Alan, I think he's talking about the end
Yeah.
of this book.
Did you guys read the acknowledgments?
No, why?
So he thanks his editor for having him cut out an entire another book in the middle of this one.
Wait,
And I think
what?
that book, yeah, it's like cut out a book in the middle of the two or the middle of this one. I think that he cut out. He basically had another book that was Shara being politics.
Oh, that's yeah.
That's my theory.
That makes sense. Also, one of the things I love, because this is like dagger and coin stuff, I love when fantasy worlds start making the transition from military might controlling everything to economic might controlling everything. And that's where Sapor is now in kind of their evolution as a powerful society. That they're coming into economic power, which further exacerbates the problem that Biswal has. Is now he's never going to get his chance because the age of the soldier is fading in favor of the age of the dollar, the age of the coin, which is Biswal doesn't think that's fair either.
As long as people like Biswal are in power, they don't let age of military to retire.
I mean that's true. That's absolutely true. Put yourself in Biswal's shoes. What is his future in that world?
He doesn't have one.
I don't know.
I mean, we see that in a lot of.
Retire and play with kids.
They don't want that.
Do you think Biswal has a wife and family?
Not his kids. Some random kids adopt somebody.
That's
play
kind
Someone
of
will
weird.
call the police.
Charity.
Someone will call the police if you're just playing with random children.
I mean, hey, look,
Okay.
isn't that Shara just picked up a random child from an orphanage?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I think there will be something to do with that in future next book. Otherwise, he wouldn't have introduced the child.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
People
true.
want power, so
That's true.
So can we talk about the structure of this. I'm just gonna go on a random tangent about the structure and
Do it.
Sigurd.
I'm listening.
So,
I'm getting more
All
coffee.
right. So one couple things I want to point out. Let's start with Petrick's review of this book, which says, "I was bored until Sigurd showed up about 40% of the book in. So stupid. I was very engaged. However, and then Anitha, you also said that the book at the beginning of this book was really frustrating because you couldn't do anything. Do you agree that the book kind of picked up once Sigurd arrived?
I did see. It doesn't mean that first half is boring,
No.
Sigrid.
I'm gonna. I want to. Yeah, yay or nay?
I do like that
No.
Sigrud is back. Sigrud
Pete
and
calling Anita
Muligesh
stupid
banter is
confirmed.
there, but it doesn't mean that it was boring because I like Muligesh as well. I,
Okay,
I, I,
but do you feel like the pace of the book kind of picked up when Sigurd got there?
I like the banter between them. There is fun with
Like,
Sigrud, but I don't think it has anything to do with pace or structure or the plot.
okay, so I think Petrick is feeling something subconsciously about this book and saying it's because Sigurd is there, but it's not, right? Because this plays into my whole thing. I think this book was really good with Mulagesh's agency and the mystery, because the way the mystery was being set up before Sigurd got there, we had a lot of disparate pieces and no connections, right? You were feeling that at the beginning, Anitha. When we get Sigrid, that's the first real connection that starts kind of like sort of making sense. Oh, Signy's, doing this thing. And then from there, we start getting more and more pieces that start connecting.
I think it's everything to do with the plot. We like Sigrud
Mhm.
entry because we had a connection with him in book one. So we are happy to see him like seeing an old friend. I don't think because of Sigrid mystery is solved or Mulagesh made progress. Yes, Sigrid was a help, but it's not
No,
because of
and
him.
that's what I want to make the point of is, so one, you're right. It didn't get better because Sigurd was there. It got better because the plot was moving forward, and that's more satisfying. Additionally, Sigurd showing up did not solve everything. Sigurd gave her tools. He didn't solve everything for her.
Yeah.
And that was engaging on a subconscious level to draw people into Mulagesh's story instead of just Sigurd being, oh, the book is now better because Sigurd is here.
What a great
think-
point, Pete. I also think that Sigurd, he definitely could have handled it to where Sigurd came in and now Sigurd fixed everything. When, if anything, Sigurd complicates matters, while also, he does give her some additional tools, like you said, to solve the story.
And
I
that's
think
where everything starts connecting as well. And it's just so Anyways.
Sigurd used to help Shara, so by joining Mulagesh, he liked helping Mulagesh because that made him, think of his old days. He doesn't like being a diplomat, and that's what he did. He embraced his old lifestyle by helping Mulagesh. I think people who did not, in first book, who did not like Mulagesh, who liked Sigurd, did not like the beginning of this book because Simon also DNF'd, and in his review, he said that he was disappointed there was no Sigurd. So I told him, I'm going to spoil something for you if you want to continue. Sigurd will be back. I was like, it's okay, Anita. I'm not going
I also think that Sigurd makes Mulagesh and by extension us feel less alone and lonely. The first part of the book is just really lonely. It's Mulagesh is in a foreign place. She doesn't know much about it. I don't know much about it. She's going from one thing to another, doesn't know who to trust, and then someone and I love this. I love this in movies and stuff where someone that you you can trust shows up, and it feels like in a Resident Evil game, for example. You're at the beginning of Resident Evil 2. Leon and Claire have to split up, and every now and then they run into each other, and then it's like, okay, we can just breathe for a second. Hey, how you doing? I'm running from zombies. I got a stupid kid following me. I got some lady in a dress that is kicking zombies in the face, and it just feels less, less
lonesome.
That's a very good point, Alan. Even I felt like the first part of City of States I was having fun because Shara has Sigurd. Mulagesh is all alone. I think that's what bothered me. I don't like characters being alone or me being alone.
I think he also did a good job, to Megan's point. He didn't lose track of how many arms she had.
Yeah.
I've read books where you have a one-arm protagonist and they literally start doing things that they can't do with one arm without significance. Like, okay, you're spinning around a spear or something. You're like, could you describe how they're fighting with a spear and all these other weapons, please?
Yeah.
Because he has one arm. Anyways, that's a completely different book.
Mike, what about you? Any other thoughts?
No, I think we summed up most of them. I'm looking forward to book 3.
Me too.
Mhm.
I don't think. When is it for? Is it for August? Is the read, or are we supposed to be reading it now?
This month.
This month,
July.
July. So
it's gonna be tough. I should be able to fit it in. I'm gonna probably do it on audio, so I probably won't get to it until like I probably won't finish it this month, but I'll start it at least this month.
do you are you on NetGalley, Mike? Do you get arcs?
No.
Okay. I only say that because Lives of Bitter Rain just hit NetGalley today, and I was
Okay,
like,
you and me, Mike, can wait for the physical release. Like,
I might bite the digital. Well, it depends. I'm gonna get the Goldsboro
digital
physical, so I don't know when I'll get that. So I may read it on digital, but I won't be an arc. It'll be after.
The
we'll
last
wait
arc
for
I
that.
got of Days of Shattered Faith, there's a problem. For some reason, some of those arcs that I get are so poorly formatted on Kindle that I can't read them. And I think that's what happened with Days of Shattered Faith. I couldn't read it. Like, it was so badly formatted. Like, I couldn't even read the Dramatis Persona. It was so jumbled.
That's wild.
And so I waited till it
You
came
can
out.
read in NetGalley app actually.
It still is garbage.
Okay.
Did you talk to somebody on like Adrian on Tchaikovsky's side of things for that? Like did you like mess it? Did you try to like? No. Okay.
I mean, no. Anyway, regardless,
Did you contact anybody about it?
I will tell. The main character for book 3 is Sigrud.
Which makes a lot of sense considering the end.
Yeah.
Night Shadow discussion will be. Have you started this, Mike? Night Shadow?
No.
Okay. That'll be next month also. But yeah, some NetGalley arcs can be so bad. Anyway, any final thoughts? Anita, I'm so glad you're so mad about this book. Like when Anita was done, she sent me like a wall of text being like, I hate this book. I'm so mad. No one suffered from any of the war crimes. And she feels so bad for the peasants down that got messed up by Saint Zagreb.
They don't have any houses anymore, you know?
It's like Anita, nobody cares about those people. Like, they died by the big monster. No one asks who died in New York when the Avengers were fighting the freaking Skrulls or
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. does.
Get out of here. No one watched that. So people, look, when the big bad is stomping the city, people die. Nobody cares.
It's sad.
I just want to clarify that I know I complained so much, but I love the book. That's why I complained so much. That's why I was so passionate, because he made me feel that.
Yeah,
Wait,
I did not feel warm and fuzzy in this book for sure. So, all right, cool. Anybody else in the chat have any thoughts? Any final thoughts we have before we say we got to an hour, and that's so shooting for. I'm also excited about book 3. I have heard really good things, but this book, I don't know. This book hit on a lot of things that I really like in books. So, sucks that Sal bounced off of it. But
when are you planning to start book 3?
Many things depend. So I am finishing Betrayal in Winter. If I do not have the arc of Bitter Rain, then I will start it after that. Or if the arc of Bitter Rain is formatted terribly. Otherwise, yeah, that's what I do. I read the read-along books first, and then I read. I'm letting y'all know. Listen to me. Y'all listen. Nope, Left Hand of Darkness. But other than Left Hand of Darkness, so I actually may read Left Hand of Darkness because I'm about to finish this Possessed. So I actually may read.
Left Hand of Darkness.
Yes, Angela. Angela, having read this series, what do you think of book 3? Where do you think book 3 rates in the other 2 books? So sorry. Left Hand of Darkness. But after that, once I'm done with Left Hand of Darkness and the read-along books, Tales of the Apt. Guys, I'm finishing Apt. I'm going to finish freaking Apt, guys. I want to finish it so bad. Mike, which one's your favorite? Did you say book 9, book 10?
think Sea-Watch might be my favorite, but the final 3 is a really good ending. Like it's
Very
it's
cool.
really satisfying closing
Not
arc.
book 7.
No,
My favorites are 2 and 10. You didn't ask, but that's okay.
I didn't ask Anitha.
I know.
5 and 8.
Anitha, do you not like book 7 because the main character's female?
It's true. It's also why she hated Scarab Path too.
I know.
I did not hate Scarab Path.
Very cool. Yeah, heck yeah, I agree. Guys, it's turned into an app discussion. It's such a power move. I like Sea-Watch a lot. There's so much spycraft in Sea-Watch.
Mhm.
If I could have just gotten out of the water just a little sooner, it would be but it's still top tier. I like Sea-Watch better than 3 or 4.
I love Van Allen's Sea Kindle accents in Sea-Watch.
Yes.
Yeah, I just started
listened
listening to that one too. and,
That's
like,
the first
hearing
one that I
voice.
actually listened to any of. It's the first one I got on audio to listen to my commute.
I will say, books 3 and 4 are better on a reread.
Yeah, I imagine they are. Mike's favorite Sea-Watch. Sal, are you listening? We just said it. Pete, what was your favorite?
Air War book 8.
Nice. Very cool. Anyway, all right. So chat, thank you so much for joining us. This was a blast. And I'm excited to read book 3. And we'll be back in August sometime. Might be a little later, depending on if we can all get to it before the end of the month and stuff. So cool. Take it easy, guys. Have a good night.
Bye.
Why is YouTube kicking?